Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's January 15th, 2020. We're flying over the workshop barn area, office area, and my goal today is to use the Skydio 2 and go over the ponds that we have on the property. Dead center in front of us right now is Pond 4. To the left of the screen is Pond 3. You can see a canal system connecting the two ponds, 3 and 4. And then we see Pond 5 to the right of the screen. So what we're going to do today is talk about the pond systems, and at this point we've had quite a drought this past summer, and we're having a snow drought so far, but finally the ponds are almost completely full, thank goodness. It took the third week in December before we finally got that enough rain in the systems. Now the Skydio 2 is a second generation autonomous drone that utilizes artificial intelligence, computer vision, and advanced robotics with very specialized sensors. There's 6 different 4K cameras to help orient where the vehicle is in space. It does 3D mapping. We're coming down now on Pond 7. There's a Scott pine tree around this. Pond 7 is a pond that was nearly dry this season, and you can see the original pond is on the left-hand side of the screen. We'll go back to that in a moment, but that's the Beaver Pond out there in the foreground, and we're going over the forest areas. The solar panels there, we'll be going over it. Directly below us right now is the area where the hugelkultur beds were that we deconstructed. And here's Pond 7 again. The circular apparatus around the right-hand side is where the pond used to be. And then we dug it out, and you can see we extended it all the way up to the area where the road is there to the side. We're going to come down to the tree here, and then we're going to turn the drone around and have another look at Pond 7. So Pond 7 is about 8 foot deep at its deepest spot, and it tapers up to the right hand side of the screen and goes up to just about 1.5 foot at the far right side of the screen, right there at the top of the screen now. So again, we'll be flying over the hugelkultur bed systems that we deconstructed here last season, and soon we'll be flying over Pond 6, which always goes dry. The swale system, you can see to the left-hand side of the screen, wrapping down between the parts of the first food forest. The almond forest is to our left. We're going over the solar panels now. Sugar Shack is to the right, and about to go over the first food forest as we go over the solar panels. And this is an area we've done a lot of changes. We pulled out some nectarines and some peach trees that were affected by the brown rot. And now we can see the honey hut below us there, and we're coming back up on Pond 4 as we fly over more of the first food forest area. Now Pond 4 is connected to Pond 3 with that canal system that goes under the roadway there, and that's part of the bioremediation system. Those marginal zones harbor many different bacteria, fungi, and plants that help to break down organic and inorganic materials and neutralize them, make them inert, or get them down to their elemental levels, which help to decrease the amount of contaminants in the environment. Now we're going over Pond 5 here. Pond 5 is near the property line. This one we've had problems with for years, getting lower and lower in elevation. In this past year, boy, with the severe drought, it dried up, and I did quite a bit of work down there with the mini excavator, bumblebee, and hound, the skid steer, trying to pack down and move some of the sediment that had settled in the base of the pond. We're flying over the greenhouse at the work area and coop area now, and you can see the western garden plot just before you getting to the workshop and barn area there, office area. And to the right of us, you can't see right now, is where the Pond 4 is. You can see part of the canal system to the right top of the screen. And this is the central garden plot, which has tarps on it now. You can see the road goes on the other side of the road is the eastern garden plot. You can see the permanent raised beds that are completely covered. You can see our house. This is the large maple. Recently, we posted a video about the construction of the post and beam salt box passive solar home with a large thermal mass unit below it. Posted that video recently. And now we're about to, we're going up the driveway heading north. The sediment connection canal system starts here, the swales start here. On the left side of the driveway is where all of the thornless blackberries plants are. To the right side is all of the second food forest area. And so in a minute, we're getting towards the top of the property. You can see all the blue spruces along the roadway. There's chestnuts up there, pecans, walnuts, a whole variety of nut trees and fruit trees. Now we're going over multiple different fruit and nut trees, and right directly below us now, center camera, is where the hazelnut patches are. So now we're heading up to the area that used to be the area where we would do our large composting system, and then we're into the third food forest now. And this is the area of the beds below us, and all in white, where the garlic is planted and the shallots are planted. Now we're going into more of the third food forest area, more of the fruit and nut trees along in this area, and finally getting to the top corner of the property at 450-foot elevation, and this is Pond 1. It is a peninsula with a weeping willow that provides nice shade and really pretty up here. And Pond 1 is one of the ponds that never goes dry, even in our droughts. And knock on wood, that remains to be the truth for the future. This is Row Road. This is our part of our property line. There's only one other piece of property, a small, little bit more than an acre property just ahead of us there, and the rest of it goes down to the next road. And here's Pond 1 again. Again, Pond 1, Pond 2, and Pond 3 have never gone dry. They maintain the highest water levels. And the main reason for that, I attribute, is the hugelkultur pits, which is all the trees and stumps and parts of trees and branches and limbs that were buried here about 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago now, all underneath the ground here. And even the ponds extend into these hugelkultur pits. And they hold so much moisture that I think that they really help out a lot. The other thing is, on this top part of the property, there's all these swale systems which recharge the subterranean aquifer and those huge hugelkultur pits. Those are the garlic and shallot beds right below us now, and I'll be hopefully making a video on update on that area as well. Now we're coming back as we go downhill. This is Pond 2 here. This is a pond that never goes completely dry. The water levels got the lowest that I've ever seen them, but fortunately 1, 2, and 3 never went dry. So really happy about that. Pond 2 here goes down a pretty steep discharge area that drops down into the sediment connection collecting canal system. So there's a canal here that's L-shaped. It wraps around the house, and it takes the water from the top of the property as it comes down and fills Pond 2, and then it goes runoff goes down into the sediment connection collecting system. So all those organic waste products can be gradually reharvested from the base of this every few years, just harvesting some of the good, rich organic material from the base of this sediment connections collecting system. To the left side of the canal system is the hugelkultur terrace, all wood underneath there. That hasn't been planted out yet. And to the right of the screen now is where the house is in the lower right-hand corner. Now we're panning around. You can see at the very base of the house on the east side, closest to the base of the camera now, you can see the Harbor Freight greenhouse there, our first greenhouse we had, I think in 2012 we installed that one. Our permanent, our handicap beds there, they have the strawberries that are the two long rectangles there. Then you can see the rest of the eastern garden plot and the other trellises there. Now we're heading south again, going down the sediment canal system and over our eastern garden plot. And you can see where the water fits into and feeds the bioremediation canal system. The bioremediation canal system flows backward over to Pond 3, and then when Pond 3 is full, it flows back out and feeds into Pond 4 through the bioremediation canal system. And again, that bioremediation canal system is using life forms that naturally inhabit wetland areas. So we have mycoremediation, phytoremediation, and using all the microbial units that can inhabit these areas. And it creates wonderful habitats for many different species as well. And these pond and swale systems all help, along with the hedgerows and living fences, help with all of um, our integrated pest management. So it creates habitats for all of the beneficial insects and predators of the harmful insects that can wreak havoc on our plant life that we're growing here. Again, now we're flying over Pond 4. To the left of our screen is where the greenhouse and Pond 5 is. And so we're coming down here. You can see the back of the workshop area here. Western garden plot on the left side of the screen. Central garden plot directly below us here. Eastern garden plots on the right side of the roadway coming up here. And we're going to come down here and we're going to, I think we're going to land here and then go down to our beaver pond. So bear with us just a few more seconds. So the Skydio 2 isn't locked on to any individuals, but I'm having it go high in the sky pretty much so you get a perspective of where things are in space, so that when you see me driving around or walking around or we're talking about the garden updates, it's much easier to get a perspective of where things are, where the first food forest is, where the second food forest is, and the third food forest as well. So we're coming down, getting ready to land, and I think we'll break away right around in here and go back down to the beaver ponds. We'll get a little bit better perspective of the beaver ponds. So here we are, we're down in the where the beaver ponds are. We're flying out over the large beaver pond. Way off in the upper left-hand corner, now center screen, is where the beaver den is, way out there. There are a couple of dens. There's some on the land, but that's an old one that's been there for years. Hard to see because, you know, it's completely overcast and you have so much ice and snow. It's hard to differentiate what's out here. And the winds really did pick up out here. You know, we have these large flat areas, and the winds just picked up much faster than I thought they would be. You could see some of the routes where the beaver travel around, and they're foraging because it's been a mild winter so far, so they're getting a lot of the green material that they didn't harvest before, bringing it up under their ice, and they have their different storage spaces that they bring it to as well. We're going to be looking to our left here. We're going to see where the chinampas are going in the future. That's, you can see a little waterway there in the center of the screen, basically coming down where the end of the roadway is, going in through the forest there. So that will be there when I get time to work on those areas and get the equipment out there to do it. Now we're turning around, we're looking at the beaver dam that was there and the access road that I built alongside of the upper beaver dam. So the beaver dam is probably 3, 4, maybe 5 feet higher than the lower beaver dam, which the access road actually incorporates 2 different beaver dams. This first beaver dam holds back all the water. Well, it doesn't hold back all the water. Some of the water actually works its way through the dam and out through the into the second beaver pond. So it actually works its way through the roots and the stones, all the material you saw me building. Now we're panning to the west, and we can see, you may be able to see the small workway that the beaver travel down there towards the center of the screen, make their way down to the lower dams as well. And now we're panning down, looking at the lower beaver dam. So this is 3, 4, or 5 feet lower in elevation than the upper dam that's just behind us and to the right. Now you can see some of the access road there, the area where that frozen water is, ice is in the upper right hand corner. That's where another pond will go in the future when I get the opportunity, and we'll be using a lot of the muck in that area to build future garden beds up in the upper part of the property as well. So you may be able to see as I pan to, yes, I'm going to pan to the right now. You'll see some of the access roads that work their way through the wood areas. I haven't driven over all of them, but you may be able to detect those out there going through the forest area as well. That little roadway directly below us is the way that we flew the drone the other day, coming down through this area, and so we're getting close to the end of the video here. We'll look one more time at the lower dam. This is where the the lower pond and the lower dam right at the base of the screen. The lower pond is where I see the young pups swimming around during the summer months and getting used to things. They really are adorable. And we see the big beavers, which I've shown before, swimming around in both the upper pond here and the lower pond. And you can pretty much make out some of their tracks where they actually go through under the water. I don't know how it does it, but it clears up the areas where the beavers are actually traveling through the areas. They work their way all along the dam, as you see its waterway there. So when you come down here, you can see them working and see where the sediment has been stirred up, where they've been working as well. There's a part on the lower access road that goes along the lower dam that I've got to repair. So when I get the opportunity this spring or summer, I'll have to bring in some more rocks and material and fill in that area as well. So I'm coming down closer here. Oh, the winds were so high. The drone, when you're looking at it at level, was almost at a 45-degree angle. So I brought it right down to ground level because the winds were just whipping so hard. But the gimbal kept the camera looking like it's completely parallel with the ground. Just amazing how those high winds force the drone to change their angle so that they can work against those high winds coming through. And this drone is absolutely amazing so far. I'm really, really impressed with it. So I'm about to park it here. So if you have any thoughts or comments or questions, please leave them below. If you found this video of value, please give us a thumbs up. I'll try to remember to put a link to the Skydio. There's no, I don't get anything from it. If you remember to click on the Amazon links when you go shopping there, that would help us out a lot. Thanks so much for watching, folks, and have a great day. Bye-bye now.